Hi there, I'm Father Rick, and today is St. Nicholas Day. St. Nicholas lived in Turkey in the late 3rd, early 4th centuries. He was from a wealthy family, and he heard Jesus's call to sell all that he has and give to the poor, and so he did. And he ends up becoming the bishop of a Turkish town called Myra. So we typically call him Nicholas of Myra. And while he was bishop, there was a huge persecution of Christians enacted by Emperor Diocletian. He was sent off and imprisoned for a while. And then Constantine comes to power and Christianity becomes legal. And Bishop Nicholas becomes one of the bishops who goes to the Council of Nicaea. If you are in a church that uses the Nicene Creed on Sunday mornings or any other time, Bishop Nicholas had a hand in drafting that creed. He was there when that creed was made. One of the stories that comes that surrounds Saint Nick is that there was a father with 3 young children, and he was poor. And back in those days, in order for a woman to be married, the father had to give a dowry, had to pay money, and he had no money. And so his daughters were going to be in big trouble in that society. They basically the option in front of them really was to become a prostitute. And so Nicholas, Bishop of Myra, took 3 little bags of gold, as the story says, and threw it through the window where it landed in the girl's shoes. One bag one night, another bag another night, another bag the third night. And then so the father had enough money to be able to give his daughters a great life. When that story expanded and the stories of St. Nicholas sort of traveled, particularly up into northern Europe, like Scandinavia, they didn't have a lot of windows open to throw gold through, but what they had was chimneys. And so the story sort of changed. They're like, oh, yeah, St. Nicholas came by and he threw the bags of gold through the chimney, and they landed in the girls' socks that were by the chimney drying. Sound familiar? There's a couple other stories that surround him. One is that he saved 3 little boys. Another is that he saved a boy who had been taken off on a slave ship, and he saved him from that life of slavery. And so St. Nicholas becomes known as the patron saint of gift giving and of children. His name eventually becomes known as Saint Nicholas, Saint Nicholas, and then as his story goes further into Europe, it becomes Sinterklaas, and then from Sinterklaas we get Santa Claus. And so Saint Nicholas is probably the most well-known saint, maybe after Saint Valentine, maybe. But right now, of course, there are little depictions of Santa Claus all over the place. Of course, our modern depiction of Santa Claus isn't as a bishop. We have, the modern picture comes with like the floppy hat and the big belly and all that. And that imagery, that iconography of Santa Claus, Sinterklaas, comes to us from originally from an advertising campaign for Coca-Cola. Prior to Coca-Cola, in the early 20th century, Santa Claus, Sinterklaas, Saint Nicholas was depicted as a bishop. But today, you might want to think about how you might give gifts to those who are in need, and how you can be present for children who are at risk.